So this is the SM Tracy Herbarium at Texas A&M University here in College Station. And we are a research plant collection, currently around 310,000 specimens. We do research, it's taxonomic research. We interact with researchers across the country and across the world. In addition to researchers here at A&M in different fields that are not taxonomic, such as ecology, weed management, endangered species, crop science, soil science, various departments. We interact with them on the plant side, if you will, to provide identifications for plants that they're working with or something that they don't know what it is, that we will identify that for them so that they can then better execute their research.
One day I got a call from people in Houston and they said, "We've got a problem. We got a plant we can't identify. Will you identify it?" So they sent it to me. While I was working on it, they sent it to Florida. A lady worked on it there. We both came back and said, "That's giant water spangle." And the giant water spangle is, somewhere between 6 and 8 or 12 times larger. So the time required to cover a lake, to reduce oxygen availability to plants and animals that are below the water level, this thing really covers much, much faster and invasive. Now, we then tracked down how this had got out. It was brought in by people buying aquarium plants to put in an aquarium, and they did that at school. Then they got rid of the aquarium and put it in the schoolyard goldfish pond. And then somebody liked these water spangles, so they took some home. Next thing we knew, it was in some of our stock ponds. When it got in the stock ponds, I got worried about it because of how fast it took over the pond.
We work with researchers all over the world, and through loaning specimens that we have here for them to do taxonomic research elsewhere, and our students here borrow specimens from other herbaria to do the same kind of work here. We do a lot of identification of weeds, invasive species that people will find in their pastures, in their crops, or in their lawns and their flower beds. Things that come in with mulch, things that come in with hay from another part of the state or something, where it's put out for an intended purpose, and then this plant comes up, this unknown plant that is a weed, if you will, that someone cannot identify, and it's either they just don't want it to be there, or it is becoming a problem for them economically. So they will collect that plant, and oftentimes they send us an image through the computer, or they will send us a specimen, an actual specimen of the plant, so that we can identify that plant for them, so that they can then go back and say, okay, this is what I have. Now I can figure out ways to try and manage it. Or in the case of it's something that's highly invasive, researchers may take that to then do research on how we can manage it, not so much at the local scale, but as a statewide or even a national scale, where this thing has become such a problem in whatever habitat it's growing in, that it has to be managed, because invasives can cause millions or billions of dollars in economic losses to crops, to recreation in lakes, where we have invasives that have invaded lakes in Texas, where people cannot fish, they cannot go boating, they're skiing, or whatever it is that they want to do on the lake. It severely impacts their ability to do those activities, which is then an economic loss to the state or the local economy, if you will, the burger place around the corner, or whatever it would be. Those are cause tremendous economic impacts. So those are some of the things that we do here at the Tracy Herbarium.